The R100 is Canon's newest, as well as now their cheapest interchangeable lens camera that they offer. At $479 for the body only, or $600 with the kit lens, the R100 is probably going to be an extremely popular first interchangeable lens camera for a lot of people. But can it compete with a camera that almost every single person already has in their pocket every single day? It depends. So I took my R100 out with my iPhone 14 Pro to take a bunch of pictures and videos and see the comparisons between these two to find out if the R100 with the kit lens is worth picking up to improve your photos and videos from your iPhone. And so I'm using the iPhone 14 Pro for this, but as a rule of thumb, all iPhones within a couple of years of each other are going to be somewhat similar quality in terms of photos and videos. So with my iPhone, I used just the standard Apple camera app. I just tapped on whatever I wanted to take a picture of, took a picture of it with either the 1, 2, or 3x lens. There's no picture effects or anything like that. They're just standard photos straight out of the camera. I just opened the app, tapped on the subject, took a picture, and that's what they are. And then with the R100, I have the kit lens on this, which is the 18 to 45mm kit lens. And then I put the R100 in Scene Intelligent Auto. So this is an auto mode, and it's going to be the most similar to like what an iPhone would be, where it's going to look over the scene, decide what it thinks it's taking a picture of, and then it's just going to make the picture look the best that it possibly can based off what it thinks the scene is. Now here's the thing, and this is where this gets a little tricky. This camera can of course have different lenses on here. I mean, you can literally purchase a lens that's thousands and thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars, and put it on this camera, and it'll give you substantially better looking images than the kit lens. I'm going to talk about that more later on in this video, so definitely stay tuned because that's where, you know, my definitive answer of if this is worth upgrading kind of gets a little tricky. But for the comparisons you're about to see right now, the R100 is in Scene Intelligent Auto, it's shooting in JPEG, all the pictures are straight out of the camera, with the 18 to 45mm kit lens. And then when it comes to videos, on the iPhone I'm shooting in 4K 60 FPS, just standard video. Everything's straight out of the camera. It's not in portrait mode or cinematic mode or anything like that. And then with the R100, I'm shooting in 1080p 60 frames per second. Now I would have recorded in 4K on this camera, however, the autofocus isn't that good. It crops in a little bit, and you can't record 60 FPS, which is a really standard video that a lot of people record with their iPhones to get that nice smooth looking footage. So I decided to opt with 1080p 60 frames per second with the Canon R100 with autofocus on, standard picture profile, and everything just straight out of the camera. And so honestly, after looking at these photos, the iPhone photos almost 100% of the time look more punchy and sharper, and I would say they just overall look better than the R100 with the kit lens. And the same goes for low light photos. The iPhone seems to beat the R100 in almost every circumstance, you know, in terms of lower noise and just better quality low light images. I will say definitively, with the kit lens in an automatic mode, the iPhone definitely beats the R100, and for $600, it is definitely not worth the upgrade. If you're gonna stick it in an automatic mode, you don't have any interest in learning about, you know, the exposure triangle and manual modes and everything like that. If none of that interests you and you just want a camera to pick up, turn on, take pictures, and look much better than your iPhone, the R100 is not the camera for you. However, for anybody else that wants to purchase this camera and you either plan on shooting in manual or want to learn to shoot in manual eventually, and shoot in RAW so you can take your photos and edit them in your editing software and maximize the photo quality with that, and if you plan on saving up money to spend on additional lenses, that is where the R100 can really push ahead of the iPhone in terms of photo quality. So real quick, I want to show you what I mean by this by putting on one of Canon's cheapest lenses you can buy, the 50mm f1.8. So this lens is going to really allow you to separate your foreground from your background substantially more than the kit lens. It'll improve your low light performance substantially, it'll give you sharper looking images, and maybe even push it past the iPhone. And so you can see back to back that there is just so much more of a separation between the subject and the background with the 50mm f1.8 lens versus the kit lens. And now of course you can do portrait mode on the iPhone that's going to kind of do a similar thing. However, you also notice it here that the R100 just looks more natural, especially in terms of the depth of field and the change from going in focus to out of focus. It just looks better overall, and that's really where interchangeable lens cameras always have a step up over, iPhones and point and shoot cameras and stuff like that, is the ability to put on different and higher quality lenses that are gonna really substantially improve your performance. Alright, lastly what I wanted to do is put these two cameras head to head, the R100 with the kit lens versus the iPhone, in terms of getting the sharpest possible image I can. And then for this, I actually switched the R100 into manual mode. I shot in RAW and pretty much dialed in the settings as best I could to get the best, sharpest looking image out of this camera with the kit lens. And then same with the iPhone. With this, I'm shooting in 48 megapixel Pro RAW with the standard 1x camera. And again, just adjusting everything to get the best possible, sharpest image I could out of both of these. And here you can see, if you adjust everything and spend the time and get good lighting, composition, everything like that, both of these can look very, very similar, but I would say the R100 actually ends up edging out the iPhone by just a little bit. So in conclusion, it's very hard for me to give every single one of you the proper, perfect answer on what you need for your situation. But in my opinion, if you're looking for a camera that straight out of the box is just gonna give you amazing looking photos that are much better than your iPhone, the R100 is not the option for you. Maybe save up for a higher end model if all you want is just amazing quality photos straight out of the camera. However, if you just have a low budget but you want an interchangeable lens camera to learn with, to grow with, to expand with, you plan on using this in manual mode or learning manual mode, and you plan on purchasing and upgrading lenses for this camera, the R100 might be a good option for a brand new camera under $500. But I will say I would recommend looking into the Canon R50 if you're looking at buying your first interchangeable lens camera. That has a touchscreen, it's a fully articulating screen so you can vlog easier and see from different angles a lot easier. It has an upgraded sensor and processor, and overall it's just a much better camera for only $200 extra. But let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.